Hello, how's everybody doing? Today is I already put down uh, I already stated that I was going to give this how can I say this? I'm not going to say speech, but this is YouTube, okay? And this YouTube is on it's an ex-Jehovah Witness YouTube on what are the Jehovah Witnesses witnessing? What are they witnessing? This time I had to write notes because it's really. I mean, it has to be a little bit structured because I mean it's about something specific that's very important, and it was kind of deep, and it involves the ex-Jehovah Witnesses also. So I had to take notes. So basically, I don't know because I have so many things, so many videos that I want to do now, and it's funny because now everything is getting more structured that I'm doing as far as the YouTubes are concerned, and my friend helps me out a lot too because I don't know, she just really helps me out with the video, with the information and how she does things. When I first started to YouTubes, I used to write out everything. And I kind of like evolved as the time went on, and you get better at things, but sometimes it's best just to speak from your heart. But most of the time I always research something, but not all the time do I structure things, because a lot of things don't need to be structured. Sometimes if something is like very vague, I won't really structure because it's already vague. And sometimes you could lose a lot of points by structuring so many things. Because first of all, you can't write down everything that you want to say. But when you're speaking from your heart, your major points come out. But this is very important because I can't say it's just me. It's just when I do videos and I listen to people, and as things develop and as my knowledge develops, I see, well, how come we didn't cover this, or how come we didn't cover that? And how come I wasn't more specific on certain things? But this one, and I learned things. Like from all the YouTubes that I did, and from speaking to, people and listening to people, I learned more, and like some points that I may have spoken about and may have been very vague, or may have been just passing points, turn out to be very important later on because I understand this, and I understand that. So how did I come across what are they witnessing? Well, I know we've talked about it before, but we didn't zero in on it. And now I can actually zero in on it when I couldn't do that before. I pretty much have it like this. It's like, I figure out, like what I'm going to discuss, like what's a witness. Excuse me. And then I'm going to add something as far as like what do we have? You have to have something to witness about something. That one was a strange point, but it's very important. It's like I listen to a lot of YouTubes. I've listened to a lot of YouTubes, and I figure, but these people have like researched things, experienced things, didn't understand things that the Jehovah Witnesses were doing, were against things that Jehovah Witnesses were doing, but you can't do it without something that you have in yourself, which we talked about the self before. So that's just a point that I'm going to cover. For now, I'm just saying that. And at the end, I mean, not at the end, but I got down that you need something to witness about, okay? And now we're talking about the Jehovah Witnesses. What do they have to witness about? I did with the point that I just made. I'm gonna show about careers and how you need certain things to have a career, to understand things like a doctor or a lawyer. And then I should end it with like what are ex-Jehovah Witnesses and people who see what's happening in the Jehovah Witness organization. What can they witness about? What are they witnessing about? So now I'm just going to start like, what is a witness? I mean, like, you can witness a crime, okay? And then that witnessing the crime affected you, and you're speaking about about something that happened. You can witness an occasion, like for instance, say you're at work and something happens, or something just happens that's not normal. You can witness that, okay? And then again, you do have something there, because like you work from day to day, and then all of a sudden something is happening that's not right. Well, you go in a recording mode, but you can see, and that's what I'm saying. You have something that's happening, and you have to have something in yourself in order to explain, in order to see something that's going on, if you understand what I'm saying. And then we have an error. I remember like the different errors we can witness an error. Like for instance, I'm not gonna say that yet, but maybe I could. Okay, I'll say it. Like ex-Jehovah Witnesses has witnessed in that era or that time when they grew up as Jehovah Witnesses and when they were Jehovah's Witnesses. That's one. I use that as an example. Like for instance, when Princess Diana was alive, I witnessed that occasion. I mean, that era. It was a nice era. I witnessed the 80s. I witnessed the 70s. So that's a witness also. So let's go. Okay, now I mentioned there's something that you have to, in order to witness something, before you even, and I told you we get really deep now because we are so exposed to so much and we understand so much now. So it's getting kind of deep. So you have to have something in yourself in order to witness something. Okay? What is it that you have to have? Well, you have to be able to recognize something. You have to be able to see a structure of something in order to witness, okay? Like, for instance, if something complex happened in your organization that you work for, if you don't know the structure of your organization, then you can't be a witness, okay? Because you won't be able to communicate with those you are witnessing to, okay? So what is that thing that you have to have? I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you an example. It's going to seem far-fetched, but it's not really far-fetched. But then you'll see what I'm talking about. I remember one time I took this class. It was a drawing class, okay? And I just took it because I wanted to get an A. And I just wanted to get an A, and I wanted to boost my GPA up because I knew I could draw. And the teacher, a lot of times we don't realize that we could be smart, but there's people, everybody is smart. other people are smart too. It's not just you. So anyway, I went to this class, and I'm sorry for that. Excuse me. And I went to this class, and I was like, this art class. It was a drawing class, drawing one or something like that. And she was showing people how to draw a face. And I said to myself, I want to get an A. I don't really want to put energy into it. And that's another thing I want you to see. I knew something, okay? And I didn't want to, and I knew I have to use energy to do it. So what I said to myself, I go, I just want to have an A in this class. So she was on the chalkboard and she goes, okay, you draw a circle, and then in the middle you put the eyes. And I was doing exactly what she said. I go, this is just going to be so easy and I don't have to worry. I'm just going to do exactly what she said. Then you draw a line in the middle and you put the nose this way. And then the mouth, the points in the middle of the eye, you're going to bring that point down and you put the lip here and the lip here. And she was doing that and I was doing it exactly like she said. And I was sitting in front while she was doing the chalkboard. It was a pretty big class. And they were in a circle line. And that was a dead giveaway in the beginning because I was sitting in the front, okay? So anyway, she leaned over to me and whispered. She goes, if you do that, I'm going to give you an F. And she looked at me just like that. I mean, she was just like right over my shoulder. You do that, I'm going to give you an F. And I said, oh, shit. I mean, I don't know where did she know. Sometimes we think we're so smart, but there's other people who think they're smart. Then I had to use my talent. And it was a class. I had to actually do things, okay? So anyway, what did I have? So that's what I'm saying. I had to have something. I couldn't just go along in the class without acting as if I didn't know what I was doing and just do exactly what she said, okay? So what is it that I had to have? I'm not going to say it yet. So I'm going to tie this into now you just keep that point. Now when we have careers, okay, I'm talking about, there's so many different kinds of careers. I just mentioned drawing. That's a career also, uses talent, like I told you. Well, what about other careers? Let's say, how can I say, a reporter. A reporter just can't report. They need to learn a lot of things, okay? I'm not even talking about college. I mean, you could still be a reporter without going to college, but you still have to know the same things that they learn in college. A teacher has to know certain things. Okay, they have to have something inside themselves, some kind of talent, in order to perform something. If not, we go all the way back to where when nobody knew anything, which we can't do that nowadays. We have to learn something today in order to do something. So I'm telling you about the careers. There's so many different careers that we have to develop. That we have to develop something in ourselves in order to do the career. You have a nurse, yes, there's nurses, but say about everybody else who works with the nurse. I mean, nurse, you have to learn a lot of things, but even a nurse assistant, you still need to do something. Excuse me, and in order to do those something, you had to go to school or learn from somebody else. I'm not saying you have to go to school. You had to learn from somebody telling you something, but you had to have that thing inside of you that I was telling you about when I was drawing in order to do these classes, okay? So it has to be developed in some kind of way, okay? So let me see. Okay, so we did the careers. Okay, so now we have to say, well, what is it that we need in order to do these things? And then I'll tell you how I'm tying this in, because in order for you to be a witness, you have to do something, you have to know something. So I was saying, what are some of the tools that you have to do any career, to do anything? You have to be understanding of other people, okay? You have to know something about yourself, okay? You have to be able to observe different situations. It just can't be in your situation, because if you just think about what you do, it's not going to get you anywhere, because you have to be able to help whatever career you have, be able to help whoever comes through the door, or whoever rings on your doorbell. You have to do all those things. So now we're getting back to witnessing, okay? In order to be a witness of something, you have to know something. You have to, that thing I was telling you about. Now, and I can go over my credentials. I grew up as a Jehovah Witness. My family's a Jehovah Witness. I have a lot of friends who are Jehovah Witness, and I went over so many different congregations that you would not believe. So, what I'm trying to say is, the whole time, there was not one, and I got baptized. Just to tell you about baptism, I could not, now I understand, I could read, but I could not read a word. I'm not kidding. I could not read a sentence. And I stated this before, and it is so true. I could not grasp their information in the books. So when I got baptized, it was just like, I went downstairs, and, everybody getting baptized had to, go through that book. And I swear I didn't do anything. I swear I didn't. Maybe I answered a fake question or whatever, but there was nothing I could do. There was no individuality. There was no, okay, Pierre's here, and there was a file for Pierre. No, there was no way that there was a file for Pierre. And that's one thing that threw me away when I left the Jehovah Witnesses, because outside of Jehovah Witnesses, you have to have a paper, you have to have a number, you have to give this experience. They want to know about you. They want to know what to do. They have paperwork. Okay, but on this one, even when I got baptized as a Catholic, there was paperwork. I wasn't just, okay, I want to get baptized. Which they could do that, but I joined the class because I wanted to know that I was doing this, okay? So, there wasn't just the paper. The first time, I'm not going to give you that experience, but it was a structural thing. Like, they cared, and I cared, and they cared. They wanted to know I cared, and they showed me that they cared. But when I got baptized as a Jehovah Witness, there was nothing. Nobody got anything out of me. You understand? Like, when I was telling you about that experience when I took my drawing class, she cared enough to look over my shoulder and notice me and say, you cannot do that, okay? There was no individuality, okay? The only thing I did was just come down, and I was late all the time, come down and, like, was there with the book, There was no, oh, what's your name? Okay. Your name? Okay, let me find your name, okay? Pierre. Oh, here's Pierre. Okay, Pierre. You missed a class. You missed a class. You missed a class on this day, and you missed a class on this day. Okay, if you can try and come in a little bit on time, that would be nice, or something like that. And when I finished, you just left. Okay, so there was nothing that they got out of me. Okay, and there was nothing that they gave to me. So that's there. As far as baptism, there was nothing there that would help me to become some kind of a witness, okay? So when I got baptized, I mean, how can I say I was a witness? How can I say I was anything when I just made it? You know what I mean? So we have that experience. Now, as far as my friends, I have never heard them witness anything. I have never heard them say witness. I mean, they say there's a Jehovah Witness, but I never heard them use the word, or not that you have to use the word, but I never heard them say anything pertaining to witnessing. Okay, they have this thing to where, yes, they witness God's kingdom or something, announcing God's kingdom, I think they say, or Jehovah's kingdom, I think they do now. But you can't describe it. You don't know what the kingdom is about. But how can you witness something if you don't know what it is, you know? So that doesn't make any sense at all. It shouldn't make any sense to them either. Now I'm going through brainstorming about what actually was I witnessing. I mean, I had a pretty big family in the Jehovah Witness, and we've never talked about witnessing at all. You know, like for instance, if you're in a career, even if you work at McDonald's or you work at Montgomery Ward, you know, you show what you're doing. I remember my brother one time, he wanted me to come to his job, my younger brother. And he wanted me to come to his job. And I came to his job. And he was so happy. He goes, here, I do this. And I do this. And the company does this. And the company does that. And he was proud of what the company does. And he witnessed what the company does. And he was able to tell me in a very logical and basic manner. And I really enjoyed that. And when I went to my sister's jobs, I remember I went to my sister right above me, her job, and she told me everything that she explained to me about her business and what she did, and she showed me how she made these books. She would make books about her procedures that she would do. I'm sorry. So she had something. But there was no occasion where, as a Jehovah Witness, they asked anything about what I had, like my drawing teacher, or that they saw something, you know, that they wanted me to use, or they wanted to teach me as an individual. So the point I'm trying to make is they do not, they do not prepare people to witness. And in order to be a witness, you have to be prepared to do something. And the only thing I remember as far as being prepared to do something is when you're overcoming objections. And when you have overcome objections, there was nothing about doing witnessing. The only thing it was if you're in a bind and they say something, you want to get this person, so you say such and such and such. Let me give you an example. I'm going to make up one example because they have some pretty good ones, okay, to catch people. Like if somebody goes, well, I have to work all the time and I don't have time to have a Bible study. And then they'll come up with, I guess I could come up with, what did I just say? Overcome that objection by saying, let me make something up really quick. Put my Jehovah Witness mind on. She doesn't have any time to do anything. So I would say, I would say something like, Uh, have you ever had? Oh, okay. I could say, have you ever went through your day and you were very busy and um, somebody caught you on the phone and they said somebody was sick or ill and they needed your help. It was a loved one. What did you do? And then, maybe the householder would think, well, I guess I stopped everything and I guess I made time. Well, don't you think that the world is sick and we need to give Jehovah some of our time? What do you think about that? It's like he's calling on the phone. Well, I guess you have a point there. When can I have a Bible study? So it's something like that. Okay, that's the only thing that I learned as far as doing something. But the only thing it was for was to get somebody to have a Bible study, or to sell a Watch Hour and Awake or book. So there was no preparation, no individual to where I was learning something or they were learning something. So there was no, how can I say, there's no preparation to be a witness. There was no training to be a witness at all. So I can say it's a fluke. I haven't used that word in so long. I love looking up dictionaries, Fluke, I think. Fluke. I don't know how to spell it, but I'm going to find out. So I like looking up words like when I come up with like that. So it would have to be a fluke. I mean, they're not being trained to witness, but yet, if they went to the dentist and the dentist, they would want to know that dentist went through training. If how can I say, if they needed their furnace fixed, they would want to know that person had training. But they don't have to have training. They can just hold the title of, they say Jehovah's Witnesses, but we know what Jehovah is. Sometimes they say God's witness. There's no way in the world they could be God's witness when there's so many things to do on this earth and you have to learn and train. So that's why I'm trying to say they call themselves Jehovah Witnesses, but because they have nothing, they literally, as I explained, they don't have any training or any ability, and that's the big point. They don't have the ability to be a witness. Now, let me go to, now what about us? Now, when I say us, I just don't mean the ex-Jehovah Witnesses, because also that helped me when I came out of Jehovah Witnesses were people who recognize, because the Jehovah Witnesses are against the Christians, okay, in Christendom. So Christians, any Christian, a lot of Christians have faced off against them because of their teachings. But what do they have to do? Now the witnesses, they have to witness to them, okay? Or they have to, because I had householders who used to witness to me, and it was going in one ear and out the other. But what do we have? Okay, I'm telling you, I just wanted to stress it's not just ex-Jehovah Witnesses who have to witness, or who witnesses about the Jehovah Witness. But ex-Jehovah Witnesses, they've witnessed the corruption inside the congregation. And when I say corruption, I know there's bad things that happen there, but everywhere they have bad things. But the major thing when I say corruption, I mean a Holy Spirit corruption. That's when I talk about corruption and bad things, I literally mean that. Okay? Not correcting their mistakes, um, not teaching the people things, not like all those things I was telling you about. The Jehovah Witnesses are void of. They can't find that thing in themselves to witness. So how are you going to become a witness if you don't have the thing it takes to become something of a witness? So what do we have to do as an ex-Jehovah Witness? Well, look at, I mean, I had to research, I had to talk to other people, I had to learn from other YouTubers. There's so many things I had to do in order to witness about this destructive Jehovah Witness clan. I had to do all those things. So it's funny because I mean they say I hate to say that they say that they're God witnesses, or some of them think that they're God witnesses, but do they actually think that they do not have to know anything in order to be a witness? That's the big point I'm trying to make. So, as ex-Jehovah Witnesses, though, my friend, she tells me so many things about this research she does, and in order to do that research, she has to have that thing I was telling you about, that interest, that talent. You just don't go on the computer and find things for no reason. You have to have some kind of structure or some kind of talent to do it. Let me call it a talent. Like the Bible even talks about the talents. But as a Jehovah's Witness, you don't have the talent. It's not developed at all. You're just like another member, okay, that has to do and go along with what everybody else does. So the last point I want to state about this is that they say that they're witnesses, but God has put together a force that is not earthly to combat the things that they have done against His will, and not just leave that as that. Okay, so we do have a job. We know, we practice. We had to find it in ourselves to witness. We just couldn't. I remember one point though. It is something that you have to have. You just can't. I remember one time something happened to me at work. It was a prejudice. It was like a really deep prejudice. And it happened to everybody. It could be under a certain situation. But it was so bad that I couldn't speak, okay? I couldn't find what it was. So that's another thing you have to have. You just can't be a witness. You have to know what it is that you're witnessing about. And we went through all the things that we went through on this website, on my channel, going through access program, researching this, listening to this person, listening to that person, reading this, going into the Bible, researching. Those are all avenues to find out how to be a witness and communicate with others so that they can learn what problems that happen as far as being a Jehovah's Witness. And there's a lot of people though who come out and they still don't connect with themselves and get a talent to be able to witness about it. So just because we're ex-Jehovah's Witnesses doesn't mean that we don't witness. But it's funny because when we were Jehovah's Witnesses, we didn't witness. And now we're ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and we're witnessing our butts off. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing very good. I hope that you connect with this YouTube. Think about it, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye-bye.